every baby comes a loaf of bread under its arm. Ancient proverb. Have you ever wondered if you should even have children? Do you look at the world and think, why would I want to bring a child into this crazy world? Or maybe you look at the bank balance and think, there is no way we can afford another child. You may have one child and you're not quite sure about a second. When do you know if you're done? Well, I firmly believe that only the Lord and your spouse can guide you in this direction. God showed us early on to trust Him with our family size. My journey is not unique, but maybe my story will be yours. I've recently been reminiscing on my life as a child and how childless my upbringing was. Tomorrow, we will celebrate the 5th birthday of our 8th, and it looks like our last child. She was born at home with 5 other sisters in the home awaiting her arrival. The brothers were not too far off that day when a die of mercy arrived in April of 2011. I observed all my girls just watch in complete awe and amazement at what God had given them. A new sister. With a 3-year-old in the home, they were familiarized with the ins and outs of newborns. Don't mess with the umbilical cord. Careful with her soft spot. Only mommies can give babies a bath, etc. But what struck me like a hole in my heart and literally made my breath stand still those first few days of her life was the realization that I grew up having never, not ever, been around babies or even very young kids. Looking at all my kids at their ages when she was born, 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, 16, and 18, I had to think back of where I was at all those ages. I was living a self-focused, self-absorbed, me-centered life. I had no idea as a child what it meant just to want to pick up a sleeping child in order to smell her freshly washed hair and feel her cuddly newborn body up against my chest. After she arrived, my kids would go out of their way just to find out where the baby is and pick her up to feel her gentle breath on their faces. I knew nothing of that joy as a child, so I really didn't miss it. Not only that, but I realized that no one I knew had babies. None of my friends had any younger siblings around. Even our small church seemed to be void of a nursery, or at least I never saw it as a young child. Growing up in the 70s was like that. You may have had the same experience. I never remember even seeing a pregnant woman, let alone any babies growing up. Of course, I'm sure they were around. I just never noticed. It was my sophomore year in college before I had even seen a woman with several small children, before I ever saw someone nurse a baby. That mom's name was Laura, and when I met her and her children in 1990, it was the first seed that God planted in my heart for having a family, a big family. I say this now because at 47, I'm humbled and awed by God's decision to bless us with a large family. This is a script I could have never written in a million years. Babies were foreign to me. As a teenager, I was selfish, and up until Jesus became the center of my life, I was headed to a life of careers and Lord only knows what else. When I gave my heart fully to Jesus, I abandoned every preconceived notion and just trusted Him with the rest, including my womb. He really does know what He's doing. He really is the sovereign one, and He really can make the right decisions for us and our body, no matter what His answer is concerning having, adopting, or simply mentoring more children. By trusting Jesus with our future, we can live a life of no regrets. Recently, my husband Joey looked at me reflectively and said, "What if we would have stopped at just 2? Then there would be empty seats at our table. If we chose to stop, we can't even imagine all that we would have missed out on." I know there is comfort in control, and that it is human nature for people to want to control their environment by controlling their family size. It makes couples feel a sense of security. It can be counterintuitive, and it requires more faith to have more children than we might feel comfortable with, because it can mean we must surrender control. Come here. This is Adaya. Say hi. How old are you?
4.
When do you turn 5?
In 3 days.
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So how many is 5?
5.
Yeah. Say hi.
Who are you talking to?
Trusting God with our family size is a faith walk, because you can't see what's on the other side, and we can't predict the outcome. We must sow with a vision of righteousness.
Hungry.
Whether you're a
I'm
young
thirsty.
mom and exhausted
thirsty.
because you're chasing around toddlers,
I'm thirsty,
or maybe you're in the
Mama.
hospital. Here's some water here.
I want.
Maybe
I
you're in
don't
the...
want lemonade.
Oh, you don't want lemon? That's all I got. Here, try this. Whether you're a young mom and exhausted because you're chasing around toddlers, or maybe you're in the hospital having just delivered your second child, and the doctor asks you if you want to be done with having kids, please take some time to prayerfully surrender to God's leadership and direction in your family's life, and let God choose your quiver size. Finally, a wise mentor told me as a young bride that the 2 most important things you will ever give your child, outside of introducing them to Christ Jesus, is a strong marriage relationship and siblings. Thanks for joining me.
I need
Have a great day.
food.